Next question.
Yes, I have a question.
I know you have a question. Go on.
Okay. My question is, I'm trying to do what you say. The only thing that
we don't use that word.
what word?
Somebody tell
What
her,
word?
please.
Trying.
What word do you want me to use? I'm doing.
Yes.
What do you want me to say?
Challenging.
I'm challenging myself whenever get stories coming to my mind, and I say to myself, tell a good story, tell a good story. How can I say a good story when something is bothering me, when I want to deal with it, when I'm trying to understand it and heal from it? I don't know how to others to express it.
Okay.
Not to fall into the same trap, because I don't want to fall into the same trap. If I don't see it and I see that this thing causes me pain and it doesn't bring me any joy and it has loads of problems for me, if I don't accept it, how can I move on to a better story? I can't. I'm trying, but I can't.
Okay.
Because then I feel like if I don't see, I have to remind myself.
Yes.
Oh, remember that this thing causes you this pain, then this pain, and the other pain. So be careful, be careful. Don't fall again there. If I let myself and I don't remind myself of the consequences of my actions and what
Can I stop you a minute before you get so deep?
I didn't finish my question. You understood my question.
I understood
right?
the question.
How can I say to myself, think of yourself in a happy valley with flowers and a lovely life?
Stop. Tell me the story.
What story?
What you've been going on and you get so upset? Tell me the story.
What do you mean, what story do you want me to tell you?
What's upsetting you?
I have to be careful not to go back to a certain person, and I have to remind myself, this person is bad for you. Be careful. He's going to come and get you, and you have to be careful to stay away.
Okay. Stop.
Not to fall into the same trap.
Stop.
And I have to remind myself what this causes in my life.
Okay.
Otherwise, I'm going to fall again. It's like drinking. You know it's bad for you. You keep doing it again and again and again. You have to remind yourself that this is bad for me.
Okay.
Or like else,
okay.
I guess.
But if you be in the present, you're not in the present.
You tell me, say yourself and I pressure myself. I say, okay, tell myself a good story. Think about something nice. What's going to happen? Think about the things that I love to do I like to do.
Stop. Tell me a story.
I always think of you. Stop saying in my head.
Tell me a story now that is upsetting you.
I told you the story.
No, you didn't.
What story?
That actually upsets you in the now or just recently?
Yes, I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed all day long about this. And I can't get it off my head. I'm trying.
Yeah.
Tell exactly what happened, like by detail.
It's all happening in my head.
Yes, so if it's not all happening in your head, it's not true.
Yes, exactly.
Yes. So
how can I get it off my head?
No.
I'm trying.
No, if it's not in your head, it's not true.
But it's in my head.
It's in your head, but because you're telling yourself the same story. Somebody is going to get me. Now stop there. Why won't you say, when it happens, I will deal with it?
It might be it's going to be too late.
No, because it might never happen.
I'm trying to deal with it now. I'm trying to remind myself.
It might never happen. Remember, I always say you must be in the present first. Calm, not think, oh, I have to remember this, I have to remember that. When you have to, you're not in the present. Let it happen and then deal with it. So if a story that you're going to tell me, yes, something is happening, you say, such and such an incident is happening, it's making me upset. Yes, in the present now. So you're going to say, let me find a good reason why this is happening. What can I learn from this situation? And when you ask yourself, what can I learn from this situation, as opposed to me, the poor victim?
Say, watch yourself, Antigone, because you might fall into the trap again. You have to watch it.
Stop there. Fall into the trap and then get out of it. Don't try and stop yourself falling into the trap. Let whatever the trap is happen first and then change the story.
It might be too late. It's like it's like you're telling a drug addict, fall into the trap, take heroin, and then get out of it while you're dead already.
Okay. You see, you're not in the present and you're creating all this. It might be too late.
But you're telling me fall into the trap. So it's like, say it was heroin. The problem was heroin.
No.
I fall into the trap. I take it. I die. I'm done.
No. That when you are confronted with the choice of taking heroin, then you can say, I have a choice. If I take it, I will die. So I will decide not to take it. When it's happening, when you have
Didn't you just tell me to fall and then come out of it and then deal with it?
So let it come out. So heroin is there. All right, now I have a choice whether I want to take heroin or not. It's not good for me. That's what I mean when, let it happen and then you have a choice.
Okay, before letting it happen though, don't you have to think that this thing is causing you bad and so you have to watch it?
Well, then you're not in the present. Then you're already living in fear.
Okay. Or maybe, okay.
Yeah, because you're not in the present. You're waiting for it. You're trying to prevent it instead of saying, because it might never happen.
Yeah, it might never happen.
It might never happen. It's just like people, we talk about worry, isn't it? When I say, why do you worry? Only worry when it will help you. If it doesn't help you, why worry? Because it might never happen. Yeah, this is a very good topic.
Can you just say like, oh, it's not happening and that's it, not like might, never, because that gives you some worry again. Again,
you're not in the present because you are in a fear mode of it may happen, it might happen, instead of saying it's not happening now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Not use the word might. It's just like it's not happening and that's it.
What did I say? In the present, be in the present. If you are in the present, it's not happening, is it?
No.
You have to wait for it to happen and then tell the story. Now, listen to this very carefully now, yeah? Nobody can make you do anything except you by the story you tell yourself. Now, if somebody drops dead in front of you, yes, it could be a terrible thing because that's the story you're going to say. You're going to say, oh, how terrible. Or you can say, how fantastic for that soul. You're painting the picture, aren't you? It's you that's doing it to yourself. Nobody can do it to you. Any situation. You are selling yourself the story. Is this making sense?
Okay, the Empire State Building, the two planes that crashed into the Empire State Building, they told themselves a story.
That's the story. How exciting for those 5,000 souls who have made an agreement to bring some awareness. Because we keep forgetting the big picture. Nobody's going anywhere. Groundhog Day. You go back to the pot and you come back again. It's only when you think that this is the only life here, then yes, oh, poor people, their families, blah, 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 blah. But when you look at the big picture, I mean, to take it one step further, 11 million Jews, how do you account for that one, right? And when I say it is a mass agreement, you can say, wow. Do you know after that happening, there was never a third world war? We got little small wars, but no third world war. So it happened for a reason, to bring awareness, you see? And the millions of people, it doesn't really matter as far as the universe is concerned, because it keeps going on. It's just like when you see a mountain of ants, you pour hot water and you don't think anything about it. But there's billions of them all over the place. And it is the perception of what you tell yourself in any situation that's happening. Because nothing is happening except in your mind with the story that you're telling yourself. And you keep hearing me say, circumstances doesn't matter, state of being. Now, in this teaching here, some of you are getting mixed up. You think about parallel realities. Yes, the parallel reality of what you wish is there. Like I was telling my good wife today, we were having a discussion, and I said to her, I always wish to have a rich woman, beautiful and all that. Instead, I got a poor woman. So then what is the lesson? The lesson is the universe is not going to give me what I want, but what I need to grow. But if I keep bitching to the universe, why does it happen? Why can't you send me what I want? Yeah, I will be miserable in the situation, wouldn't I? But if I understand that, hold on a minute, thank you, universe, you're sending me something I need to learn. And when you start to ask, what is that I have to learn? Yes, I have to learn patience, I have to learn non-judgment, I have to learn all these things that she's brought to my life.
But so you never stop learning, isn't it? Or because sometimes I think like years ago, for example, I had lots of lessons to learn. But now it's, yeah, you never stop. But I still think now those lessons are, or maybe I'm taking them differently now. I'm just not, yeah, I'm just taking it as a fun more.
Yes.
So it's different.
You're learning to look at it in a different perspective. Always remember when I talk about the leaf and the tree and the leaf, the branch and the tree. Before you were looking at one leaf. Now you're looking at different perspectives from different leaves. The next thing you'll be looking at the branch. And then when you get to a later stage, when you come to all-knowing, you are the tree. You can look from it from every perspective. This is what the whole thing is all about. Nothing changes. The only thing changes is the perspective where you can learn to shift. So if you're in a crummy situation, you have only learned to look at it one way, you know, bad luck or whatever situation you sell yourself. But you say, hold on a minute, this is one view. Let me look for something good. And until you start to look for a lesson, you will not shift because you will stay fixed from that point. And so then it becomes your reality. Take any situation. Come on, let's play the game. Give me a bad situation that you've gone through or recently and see how we can change it. All of a sudden, there's no complaints now. When there's plenty, every day we come across it, all of a sudden we're quiet. Come on, no, it is good to practice now. Prove to me that I'm creating it all the time. How's things?
I am good most of the time, but there are times I fall back into the patterns.
Okay, let's work with the times that you fall back in the pattern then.
See, I was just coming back from the school. I mean, somehow we decided to take the boat from Westminster. Mm-hmm. So we got off at the Mast House, you know, which is one stop before Greenwich. It was so cold and windy, and I wasn't feeling well since this morning at all. I was on Lemsip and all that kind of thing. So I started walking fast, and by the time we got home, we have an argument.
About what?
That I left them behind.
I mean,
I left my family and kids behind.
So but were you upset?
I wasn't.
Ah, there you are. So that wasn't the problem then. It's your family's problem, not yours.
Yeah, but that got me started again.
Wow.
Because, you know, I said, like, it was like I wasn't feeling well. I was on Lemsip from the morning.
Yeah.
So I couldn't stand the cold at all. So I just walked, and I was not even walking faster than I normally do.
Okay. And so what started you?
It's a kind of pointing fingers, right? So that got me started. Then I said, I didn't, this is what happens to me. Although I know the theory, sometimes I do lose it. The theory doesn't, I can't get the theory working.
Okay.
So I started, fortunately, I mean, I got all worked up, and it was not the theory came out. Somehow in the situation I said, look, I wasn't well. So I had to walk. Then she said, okay, you should have said that.
Well,
but I did. So I must have at least lost 10 minutes of my life because, I got worked up, and all this hormones and all would have gone up and down and all the kind of things.
It's okay. 10 minutes is very good because normally it would have been the whole evening or a couple of days. So 10 minutes is fantastic. So next time make it 1 minute. Yes.
Correct. But the point I'm trying to make is that shouldn't have happened there at that point in time, because
you learn from it. You learn from it. Yes. And the next thing is you do not need to justify why you're walking fast.
Correct. That was my point. I was feeling cold.
Yeah.
I was feeling cold, and it was it was almost like a hurricane wind.
Yeah.
Because you're walking along the water. So I walked. I wasn't even overly. I mean, I can walk very fast.
Okay.
But I was just walking my normal speed. I reached home maybe 5 minutes before they reached home.
Okay. Irrespective of what the responses you got from your family, it shouldn't have mattered. But you made it matter.
I made it matter. Yeah.
You made it matter. Your family didn't upset you. You upset yourself because you made it matter. This is the point what I'm trying to get across to you. Nobody can upset you because
I got screamed at, Arram. So that after all, you're also a human being, right? If you get screamed at, unless you are very high level,
no.
it does hit you.
No, it is practice, that's all, not a very high level. It's just that, you know, it's good that your wife challenges you all the time and pisses you off. It gives you a chance to say, thank you, wife, because I'm going to start playing the game. I'm going to tell myself a good story. And the more good stories you tell, whatever she's going to come and nag you is not going to matter, because you're not going to allow yourself to be upset by the stories you're going to tell yourself.
Okay.
My wife upsets me all the time. And I tell myself a good story.
Okay.
Whereas before, I would go into judgment and say, how can somebody do something? Why? No, I just say, fantastic, you know, this is how it is. Because it's up to me, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's up to me. Because then, you know, if I cannot do it myself, then I'm telling you a whole lot of nonsense. I keep telling you circumstances doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. It's your state of being. And why do we get upset is because of our expectations of how we expect the other person to react. Do you understand, SP?
Yes, I understand.
Oh,
I know.
That voice. Come on. Yes, I understand.
The circumstances doesn't matter, but sometimes the circumstances come over and over again. And it's like you just ignore them, they come harder.
No, circumstances will happen over and over again, yes. However, you tell yourself a different story, and then the circumstances will slowly change. But you expect instant change when the way we were talking. No, you don't give any meaning to the story first. But you give a meaning to the story. You want the circumstances to change. The circumstances will not change. You have to change. And until you change, the circumstances outside will eventually change.
Because you're running in a different frequency then, isn't it? So it will not attract what it was before.
Frequency, you hit it on the nose, right? Somebody is on a power reality. If you match that frequency, you go back to the old way. If somebody's on the frequency of whatever it is attacking you, yes, you look at the frequency and you say it's nothing, yes, nothing's going to happen. But because you give it meaning and you match that frequency, because if the frequency is coming from anger and you've gone into judgment, you already matched it, isn't it? Come from a point of non-judgment. And then eventually unconditional love and compassion, but we can't even get to that state until we go into neutrality first. So whatever is happening, you have to go through the neutral stage first. And then the compassion and the understanding as to why that person is behaving that way will all come to be so clear. And you start to understand that person's background, why that person is behaving that way. But if you go into judgment, you can't. You know, why does that person keep repeating that pattern? That's the question I want to ask. Not getting angry at that person, because that person doesn't know what they're doing. They're just going to a loop. If somebody is in the loop, it's best to give it a neutral meaning first to make them calm. Because once you start to attack them and defend yourself, what is going to happen? The other person who is not awakened, yes, will start to attack you. Because that's the only way they know how to react. Is this making sense? Pick up any situations in the last month where something happened, you reacted and a row started. Or better still, those of you that have been practicing, share with us some incidents that happened in the past where something happened, it didn't affect you. Circumstances doesn't matter. And what is it you had to tell yourself which neutralized the whole thing and had compassion for that person? This is a big one here, today's lesson. Although I've explained it before over and over, the penny is not dropping. Neelam, you're deep in thought. Share, please.
No, I was just trying to think of one of my issues that I've had with my sister-in-law, my brother's wife.
Yeah.
For many years. And because my brother was diagnosed with cancer last year, well, he's in remission now. There's been more opportunities. When I say opportunities, I'm using the word opportunities to meet her. Now, whereas before I would go into a fear mode, almost, the only way I can describe it is fear mode, thinking, now what's she going to say to me? What's she going to do? What's she going to say? What has happened is of late, I have been practicing my acceptance and so on. And even though now when I have to, because I do phone my brother a lot more now because of various things, I go into without the other lady was mentioning, you know, the head, it sort of goes in to say, oh, And then I'm like, calm down. And then I start practicing the acceptance, and I'm actually sending love now. And I'm actually, in my own way, doing the love thing and
okay.
And then exactly. So that's what I was trying to think, that the more I've practiced it, easier for me to get out of this fear thing.
All right. Now the next step for you is to go back and say, why did I have this fear about my sister-in-law? Okay. Just to put that aside and just say, why did I have this fear? And it will come out, most probably will be what people will think of me.
Yes, yes.
Think of me.
Yeah.
Yes. So once you say, I keep forgetting, I'm a spiritual being. I'm the perfect person. I am all the time.
What I was actually going to say further was that a lot of the times it's what I was thinking, what they are thinking. Truth, because
you are thinking.
Yeah, what I'm thinking, that they are thinking.
Correct.
That's been the time which has been brought forward into my head even more.
It's happening all the time. And for me to be a very acute listener, and I'm talking to people, and all of a sudden I hear something, I say, I didn't say that, but they assume and they thought that I said something. Do you understand? And this is where the skills in listening will come in, when people start to make stories up and you didn't even ask them a question. And it happens all the time now. This is why it's a challenge in relationship until you both can get onto the same level of talking. Say, where are you coming from? It's good that you shared that example. You're having more the teachings of allowing the other person to be right. You know, I don't have to defend myself.
Well, exactly that. Yeah.
And I'm already a perfect being. I don't have to be better.
Accepting myself more for the way, accepting myself for myself. So not worrying about what the other person is thinking. But as I said, a lot of the time it was what I was thinking.
What you're thinking, what they were thinking, when it's not the truth.
Yeah. And whatever they're thinking is not my problem. A bit more, I don't know, calmer.
It makes you calmer because you're not allowing the other person to upset you, because you're telling yourself a very good story.
Yeah.